good afternoon, everybody. Today, right now, we're gonna be doing Divorce Sisters, season 1, episode 4, Line in the Sand. I know I'm a little late, shoot, because the new episode for the drop in a couple of days. But this episode basically starts out where it ended last week, where Naomi is drunk and she walks into the banquet and she feels away because her friends are there talking to Franklin's wife. I mean, they're asking questions, but they ain't really just talking to her like that. But anyway, in the midst of them having conversations, she starts flirting with Javon. The friends are trying to give her coffee to sober her up. She doesn't want the coffee. She pretends like she takes a sip of it, tells them, she doesn't want it. She says something to Franklin's wife about her earrings. So he basically tells her not to engage in conversations with her. So they eventually turn their backs on Naomi and she goes back to talking to the other people at the table. So she says that the coffee isn't hot enough. And so she tells Bridget, to bring the whole pot and to make it really, really hot. So in between all of this, Jeff and Rashida are arguing because he wants Rashida to get Naomi to leave. And of course, Rashida doesn't want Naomi to leave because that's her friend. And they were surprised to see her at church because she doesn't like church and all of this other stuff. So Myron, who is Jeff's assistant, is talking about having security escort her out. And, she doesn't want to leave. They're like, she's going to stay, whatever. So now, the auction has started and they were auctioning off a Bible. And Naomi was like, because his wife, Franklin's wife, was like, maybe we should bid on it if her mother would like it or whatever. So Naomi is like, look at the devil trying to buy the Bible. And they was like, you don't ever give. And she's like, she gives all the time. And while they going back and forth in an argument, Javon compliments Naomi. He's trying to diffuse the situation because it's really tense, a lot of tension, and trying to keep the situation from, bubbling over, right? So Franklin ends up getting up because he wants to auction off the painting that the police and stuff just took from Naomi's house. And there he starts to degrade her in front of everybody. And it was like we found out her brother is the one that made the painting, or that did the painting. And he was talking about the brother was worthless while he was alive, but once he died, the painting was worth like 1.2 million. And I mean, he literally made her feel like trash because he wanted to start the bidding at $5. Now I have a clip pulled up so I could show that. Let me see if I can show it real quick. Let's see if I can find it, or he's up here talking. Give me a second. Make sure I get the right thing. I think this is, let me show it.
It in my divorce settlement. And I am thrilled to see it in such excellent condition because my ex-wife, Man, yeah, it's exhausting just thinking about her. She is a monster. She honestly tried to destroy everything of mine when we were separated. Excuse me, when I left her. And it was quite frankly the most toxic situation I had ever been a part of. Well, other than being married to her, of course. My new wife. Hi, baby. Okay, stand up. Okay. Gosh. Yeah. She is not toxic at all. No. Her love.
We're not letting him do this. You need to stop him. What did Jefferson to stop him? I'll let him finish. Okay, I can't.
But forgive me, I digress. This painting was actually painted by my ex-wife's drug-addicted brother. Yeah. And if I'm being completely honest with you, I never really liked it at all. But it turns out because he died of a heroin overdose, the value of his collection went crazy. Yeah, I mean, through the roof. Worthless, alive. Worth $1.2 million as a dead man. Now that is irony at its finest, my friends. So with that being said, let's start the bidding. And if you want it, you'll have to bid well. Now, as you can all imagine, this painting is quite significant to my ex-wife. She was very close with her brother, and she holds a very special place for him in her tiny little heart. So with that being said, let's start bidding at, I don't know, what's fair? Anyone? Any suggestions? Okay. Well, let's say $5. So here's the lowdown on this painting. I recently reclaimed it.
So that's what he did. And they started bidding at $5 and ended up going up to $10. And then Tiffany bid it $5,000 and it started going up from that. Then I guess once he realized that one of her friends might buy the painting for her, he decided he would buy the painting for $5 million unless she wanted to beat him out with $37 million because that is what she got out of the divorce. So, of course, it didn't work out that way. So he ended up getting the painting, which he says he didn't want anyway because he doesn't want the painting. He doesn't like the painting. The only reason he even got the painting was to taunt her and to make her feel away because she was super close to her brother and that painting meant a lot to her. At this point, Naomi decides she wants to leave. And Franklin's wife says she's thirsty. When she says she is thirsty, Naomi throws. Let's see if I can share that. Am I going to be able to see it? Let me see if I see it. What is this? That's not it. Okay. Let me share this one. This is when she got up to leave and she decided to throw the coffee on her. I shouldn't be laughing so hard at that. I really shouldn't because we being honest, it wasn't right that she did that. It really was not. But sometimes people push you. Sometimes people push you to and sometimes people push you overboard. Now I thought this scene was they were doing too much the whole scene anyway. But when he threw that coffee on her, she did all this screaming and yelling and screaming. I guess that she did do that right, considering she supposedly has third-degree burns, baby, and she screamed and hollered. That was too funny to me. Maybe not to nobody else, but it was funny to me. Anyway, we'll see where they're trying to get her help, get her to the hospital. Franklin is telling them to arrest Naomi. You'll see Myron with his hand on Jeff's leg. And I said this, I still don't know if it's true or not, but it's still giving me something is going on with Myron and Pastor Jeff. It's been given that since episode 1. It's been given it since episode 1. You ain't sleeping with your wife and you always with homeboy. It's been given it since episode 1. It's something going on between them two. I'm sorry. Ain't nobody gonna make me believe otherwise until it come out. There's something going on between them. Anyway, we'll see where, everybody says they're gonna go to the various locations. Of course, Rashida and Jeff are going to go to the hospital with not Naomi, dang it, Franklin and his wife, because all this happened at the church event. So of course their pastor and first lady. So they're going to go to the hospital with them. Geneva is going to go to the precinct so she can see what she can do as far as it relates to Naomi, because Geneva is a lawyer. Of course, Javon, whatever his name is gonna want to go wherever Geneva goes. And since Tiffany is a little dummy and don't know what's going on, she wants to follow in behind Javon. She claiming, I know that's her friend too, but the only reason she really going is because she's trying to follow that man. That's what that is. Now, I feel like Geneva should tell her what's going on, because homegirl is quite smitten with old dude, but old dude is playing her for a fool, because he ain't interested in her for real. He's sitting there and he playing a game because he's trying to make Geneva jealous, but he ain't interested in her like that for real. But hey, it's whatever. But Bridget volunteers to take William home. So William is riding with Bridget on the way to the home. And, in the car headed to where she's taking him, they're having conversations, and he's telling her, he felt like Franklin was torturing Naomi in the thing at the church, which of course, what he did, he was wrong for what he did, and she was wrong for what she did in response. But you can't mess with people and then dictate how they respond to you. But hey, it is what it is. But Bridget was like, she glad she sees it. And William was talking about how he feels like Geneva is his soulmate. I'm like, he feeling like she's his soulmate. She been out there creeping, and your homeboy that you trying to hook up with her homegirl is trying to take your wife from you, homeboy. So you better be, paying attention to what's going on. You so busy trying to push him into Tiffany's arms that you don't even see what's going on right in front of your face. But hey, I digress. Bridget talks about how Vaughn is so immature and young, and she feels like she's too old for the situation. Of course, William tells her that, if things don't work out with her and Vaughn, she will find her somebody else. And of course, he gives her a nice little pep talk. And then we'll see where we go to the car where Tiffany is in the car. She's flirting with Javon. He's in there talking to whoever he was talking to, trying to get something set up with Naomi to be released on her own recognizance. And so they're in there trying to get, Tiffany more so is trying to get Geneva in on the conversation, and Geneva's really not interested in the conversation because he's talking about the pictures that he took, and he lets her know that he had taken pictures of Geneva, and she was like, well, I didn't know that. I want to see the pictures and talk about how they look and if they look good or not. And Geneva's like, look, I ain't got time for the small talk. I don't want to do this distractions. I don't want to do none of that. I just want to stay focused on what I'm focused on. And this bullshit y'all back here talking about, I don't want to hear it. Next, we're going to go with Rashida, where her and Jeff is in a car and they're headed to the hospital. Rashida is crying. Jeff, of course, is telling her that he's okay because evidently he got a little burn on him from when she threw the coffee. And he was like, his wife wasn't watching over him. And she was like, sure, you had somebody watching over him because, Myron had your back. And he was like, well, it wasn't his wife. Like, what you need her watching you when you got Myron watching you? And she said something about Myron. And he was like, well, his wife was there. So, of course, she was like the wife that he barely paid attention to because, we sitting there and I saw he had his hand on the man's thigh leg. I'm like, who does that? What men have their hand on the man's thigh leg? Or was I looking too hard? Anyway, Rashida tells about the situation because, of course, they're calling Naomi crazy, unstable, and all the other good stuff. And of course, Rashida is like, well, ain't nobody innocent in this situation because this lady had an affair with this man. She got pregnant by him. And of course, now they're married and now they're taunting her. Now, how you think somebody's going to feel if you cheated on her with this woman, had a baby, and now you over here in her face like everything's okay? Of course, they probably shouldn't invite either one of them to the doggone thing if you ask me, but who am I? But, they're arguing back and forth and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And she's telling him about, their son's grades are slipping. He's acting out. He's being disrespectful. And of course, he was like, well, what else I need to do? And she was like, well, maybe sleep with your wife, maybe more than once every few months. And I'm like, yo, homeboy I don't know if he doing the bending or he getting bended. But if you only screwing with your wife every few months, you doing it with somebody else. Because they said what one person won't do, another one will. And if you ain't getting it at home, you getting it from somewhere. So she tells him she feels like she's being undermined, she's being overlooked. He doesn't respect her. And then she tells him don't be trying to patronize her because Naomi is her friend. And he was like, well, I told you not to invite her. And of course, he go to calling Naomi out her name. And he tells Rashida that she can't save her ratchet friend. And that, of course, he doesn't like her. And he told her to cut her out of her life. Now, this is a pastor that's calling a person ratchet, that he doesn't like her, and to cut someone out of their life. My thing is it that you don't like her ways. You're supposed to be the pastor. You're supposed to be trying to save people. Because he's telling her that Naomi can't be saved. And so, they're talking about all this fighting, and all this fighting isn't good for their relationship. It's not good for anything. If I can find a clip where they were talking in the car. That's not it. Give me a second. Let me see if I can find one. Okay, I got one. Give me a second. Let me get it pulled up here. Give me a second. Let's see what we got.
Naomi.
Naomi is my friend.
Yeah, who needs professional help.
I know that.
She threw coffee everywhere.
I know it. I saw it. And
See, she's more of a problem with us than anything. You know, for some reason, you just continue to keep her around. She's rude. She's loud. She's obnoxious. She's low down. She's ratchet, Rashida.
that's real nice talk for a pastor.
Look, she hates God and the church, and you know it.
Jeff, you know everything that woman's been through.
Yeah, I do. Which makes me wonder about you.
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying, Rashida, you can't save her.
Well, you're definitely not trying to help me save her.
You know what? I can't believe we're having a conversation and an argument about your ratchet friend. Look, she's not worth it.
Jefferson.
I don't like her, okay? She's the reason why we almost didn't make it down the aisle, if you remember. But for some reason, you still want to be friends with her. Cut her out of your life.
You will not tell me who I can and can't be friends with.
And you won't tell me who I can and can't invite to the banquet.
You know what? This isn't getting anywhere.
Yeah, you know what? You're right about more than one thing.
Say what you really feel, Jefferson.
What I really feel is about our marriage, okay? All this fighting, this isn't what a marriage is supposed to be.
Well, then fix it.
Well, for that to happen, I can't do it by myself.
Showing up would be a start.
Yeah. All right. I asked.
Well, there's that. Lord, forgive me. Forgive me. It's wrong with me. Anyway, the next thing that we go to, we'll see where William arrives at home. He apologizes to the babysitter for being late. He then calls Geneva. He tells her that, he'll wait up for her, and she tells him not to and to go to bed. He's telling, he mentions how she was all dressed up today, reminding him of prom. And of course, she's looking over at Tiffany and Javon. She rushes off the phone with him. We see where she gets home, and Vaughn is doing what Vaughn does. He is playing video games. And he was talking about how he saw everything that happened at the banquet because one of the church people uploaded it, and he saw it online, and said they're calling Naomi a hero because she went after that lady that stole her man. He then apologizes to Bridget for that night, and he tells her that he really does love her. He's not going to press her about, being around her friends until she's comfortable with where they are in their relationship. She tells him she loves him too. He pulls out some flowers and tells her to smell them. Of course, the flowers are fake. And she's like, "You got these out of my room?" He's like, "It doesn't matter where I got them from. It's the thought that counts." And she was like, "Well, I gave you these flowers to show you how much I love you, and I'll let you run me some baths." But I'm like, hold up. How you gave her some flowers that were already in her house, and you did the BS at the party to kind of screw up the party a little bit, and now you're talking about her running some bath water for you? Dude, if you don't go somewhere and sit your $2 tail down somewhere, you don't go sit down somewhere. Anyway, we'll end up at the hospital where Myron beat Rashida and Jeff there. And he's like, "I told you to let me drive." Dude, you should have been at home with your wife. But anyway, Franklin tells them that Lindsay has third-degree burns, and he proceeds to call Naomi all these biatches and talking about how she tried to turn his son against him. And of course, Rashida said she didn't agree that anything that Naomi did was right. She told her to stop doing everything that she was doing, and now she's telling him to stop. And of course, he decides he wants to try to call. He literally sits there and call Rashida everything under the sun and her friend. And Pastor didn't open his mouth. Pastor did open his mouth. Let me see if I can find a clip of him going in on her, and Pastor didn't say nothing. Let's see. Now y'all probably be tired of ladies throwing clips, but this is so crazy. This, see if I can doggone find it. Is this it? Okay, this is it. Let's see if I can share my screen. Presto. Press play.
Degree burns all over her back.
I am so sorry, Franklin.
That fucking bitch. Yes, I said it. Naomi has dragged me through hell and back, and has tried to destroy me and mines along the way.
Well, the two of you playing those games isn't helping.
This is not a game, Rashida.
Well, what do you call tonight? You know how important that painting is to her.
Yeah. Well, she should have thought about that before she tried to turn my son against me.
Look, maybe we should
Hold on. Let me get this straight. So you're telling me that you believe her actions were justified
That's not
this
what she's
evening?
saying.
Then what are you saying, Rashida?
Absolutely not. I don't agree with her doing that. I don't like any of this.
That's your friend, right? You need to tell that your friend to stop.
I have. And now I'm telling you to stop.
Jefferson, get your...
What?
Babe,
I'm sorry, what was you gonna say?
babe,
Bitch! I got your bitch!
babe.
Good evening.
You
Ma'am.
are the first lady. Come on. Could get it together. Myron, take the first lady home.
Well, I'm not going nowhere. We came here together and we're leaving together.
Rashida.
Period.
Franklin, can I pray for your wife?
She's not welcome.
I'll come. Myron, watch the first lady.
Watch. Oh, so
What's that? So, since excuse me, Rashida couldn't go back to the back when he goes to pray for his wife. Jeff goes in there alone. Of course, he prays for her. Franklin thanked him for praying for her, and then he proceeds to say that she didn't want to come to the event and she only came for him. And he starts talking about how long that Jeff and Franklin have been friends, that they've been friends for a long time. But he says he can't give Jeff the money because of his wife's friend, and questions him about him and his wife's association with Naomi, whom he called the devil. Of course, he appreciates him for coming, tells him if Rashida cuts ties with Naomi, then he'll reconsider giving the church the money. He thanks him for coming and tells him that he's exhausted. So Rashida and Jeff are again fussing because, you know, she refused to let Myron take her home. And he tells Rashida that Franklin is no longer giving the church the money, and they don't have the money for the down payment of the new building. And Rashida tells him that he was never planning on giving you the money. You were never going to get the money. Say he came to do exactly what he did, which was taunt and degrade Naomi and then piss her off, only for her to then throw hot coffee on his wife. Of course, that wasn't part of the plan. He just wanted to come there and taunt her and get her upset. He didn't think about the repercussions or what she was going to do once she got upset. So he was like, well, we had the money. Like, no, you didn't. When has he ever given you anything? And then she lets him know that, of course, he sat there and let this man call her out of her name and didn't say anything. Then, of course, they reached home. He gets out of the car, goes into the house, and she's sitting there and she's like, he didn't open the door for me. No, homegirl, he did not open the door for you. Let me see if I can find that last clip of how the episode ended, where he gets out of the car and leaves. Yes, I can find it. I might not be able to find it. Let's see. Do they even have the clip? They might not even have the clip for that one. I don't see a clip for that. I'm sure they got one. I just don't see it. But they did. I see everything but that. So since I don't see how it ended, so I guess that's how we're gonna end it, because well, I don't see. I thought it was another clip of him walking into the house and leaving her out in the car, but I don't see it. But either way it goes, that is how this episode ends. Now, I am liking Divorce Sisters. I do think Naomi is a bit over the top. I think she's too extra. I think she feel like she needs to water it down a little bit, because she's definitely seen too much. But I do like the show. So in a couple of days, Thursday, when the new episode drops, we will see what that is about. So with that being said, that's going to be it for this review. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Share with a friend, whatever the case may be. Help me get my subscriber count up. And with that being said, I will talk to you guys soon. Y'all have an amazing day. Talk to you soon. Bye.